If you've created a conscious machine, it's not the history of man. That's the history of gods.
It shouldn't be a surprise that Ex Machina is a movie about humanity's relationship to God.
You know, I wrote down that other line you came up with. The one about how if I've invented a machine with consciousness, I'm not a man, I'm God.
The film's title is a twist on the Latin term Deus ex machina, God from the machine, and in that suggests a missing God and a machine which is no longer a machine without him.
Ava, go back to your room.
If I do, are you ever gonna let me out?
I think most people who see Ex Machina are left with the impression that it's about the testing of artificial intelligence. The film follows Caleb, a programmer who wins a week at the isolated home of his billionaire boss Nathan, creator of the world's most popular search engine. Nathan has brought Caleb to his home to test his newest creation, an android named Ava, to see if in her he's created something more than machine.
Hi.
And the whole of the film is about the test.
You know what the Turing test is?
It's when a human interacts with a computer. And if the human doesn't know they're interacting with a computer, the test is passed.
And what does it pass to?
So we need to break the ice that the computer has artificial intelligence.
Do you want to be my friend?
Over the next week, in 6 different sessions, Caleb converses with Ava and debriefs in between with Nathan.
Testing Ava through conversation is kind of a closed loop. Like testing a chess computer by only playing chess.
Look, do me a favor, lay off the textbook approach. Yesterday I asked you how you felt about her and you gave me a great answer. Now the question is, how does she feel about you?
But the film also alludes to another test.
Are you married?
The name Ava is a variant of the name Eve, the first woman in the Bible, whom God created and introduced to Adam after placing him in the garden. The 7 days over which the film takes place alludes to the 7 days of creation, and the tree prominently displayed in Ava's room represents the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, through which God tested the man and woman by forbidding them to eat.
Did you give her sexuality as a diversion tactic, like a stage magician with a hot assistant?
So a hot robot who clouds your ability to judge your AI?
Exactly. So, did you program her to flirt with me?
This is what I'd wear on our date.
The glass separating Caleb and Ava also suggests this theme.
When you talk to her, you're just through the looking glass.
Here, Caleb refers to the Lewis Carroll book in which Alice passes through a mirror to the strange reverse world on the other side. Ex Machina is fixated on reflections, and the glass dividing the two also refers to a mirror. Ava and Caleb are shown mirroring one another, which is true of the Bible's first couple, who in being divided from one another represented two halves of the same whole.
Are you attracted to me?
The reason the sexes desire to be reunited.
So we need to break the ice.
For the record, Ava's not pretending to like you. You're the first man she's met that isn't me. And I'm like her dad, right?
The God and Father of this creation account is of course a caricature of the biblical God. He's intelligent and powerful, but also narcissistic and abusive, wearing a wife-beater t-shirt for a good part of the film.
Are you fucking kidding me? Did it get on you?
No, it's all right. I got it.
Dude, you're wasting your time talking to her. She doesn't understand English. Just give her the napkin.
And it's Ava who asks Caleb to doubt him.
Why did you tell me I shouldn't trust Nathan?
Because he tells lies.
Lies about what?
Everything.
But there's something in Nathan's story which makes Caleb want to believe.
When we talk about the lies you've been spinning me, I didn't win a competition. I wasn't part of a lottery. I was selected.
You know, instead of seeing this as a deception, you should see it as proof.
Proof of what?
Not lucky. Chosen.
But Caleb wants to believe Nathan, that he's not just the product of random chance, but is special to Nathan in the same way he believes Ava has been created special. But the reality is, Ava isn't special to Nathan.
I don't see Ava as a decision, just an evolution.
What will happen to me if I fail your test?
She's the byproduct of his evolutionary process, which never had her in mind.
When you make a new model, what do you do with the old one?
Well, I download the mind, unpack the data, add in the new routines I've been writing. And to do that, you end up partially formatting so the memories go. But the body survives.
Do you have people who test you and might switch you off?
No, I
Then
don't.
why do I?
And behind the mirrors of Nathan's closets, Caleb finds the skeletons of the creator's evolutionary tests.
You feel bad for Ava? Feel bad for yourself, man.
Seeing his reflection in these robot mirrors, Caleb begins to wonder if he too is just an evolved machine, and he dissects his flesh to see if he's made of meat. But by now the film has shown that meat is no different than machine.
I programmed her to be heterosexual, just like you were programmed to be heterosexual.
Nobody programmed me to be straight.
You decided to be straight? Please, of course you were programmed by nature or nurture or both.
The only wall separating Caleb from Ava has been Caleb's belief in an immaterial spirit setting humans apart as more than machine, a belief which has now been shattered.
I want to be with you. Question 5. Do you want to be with me? Caleb, you have to help me.
I'm going to.
This is why Caleb rejects and betrays the God in whom he once believed.
Gotta say, I'm a bit surprised. I mean, did we ever get past the chess problem, as you phrased it?
Reprogram the locks to free Ava and imprison Nathan.
Stop.
While Ava, at last free, kills Nathan and imprisons Caleb, leaving him trapped behind the glass of her former prison.
Fucking unreal.
This is Nietzsche's death of God philosophy, a metaphor for what modern scientific knowledge has done to Christian belief and the significance it gave human beings. Nathan's death represents an end to Caleb's false belief in his significance, a loss which now forever traps him in nihilistic despair. In seeking meaning and wholeness in computers, Caleb has, like those who believe in Christianity, allowed himself to be manipulated by the unreal.
I've never been outside the room I'm in now.
Where would you go if you did go outside?
Maybe a busy pedestrian and traffic intersection in a city.
This is your hardware, and the software.
Well, I'm sure you can guess.
People watching. Blue Book.
Ava is none other than Nathan's search engine, Blue Book,
There's a weird
the
thing
data
about
mined
search
from
engines.
Caleb's use of modern technology.
If you knew the trouble I had getting an AI to read and duplicate facial expressions. Every cell phone, just about, has a microphone, camera, and a means to transmit data. So I turned on every microphone and camera across the entire fucking planet, and I redirected the data through Blue Book.
Pretending to like me.
Yeah.
Well, why would she do that?
I don't know. Maybe if she thought of you as a means of escape.
At the loss of his fantasy, Caleb is forever imprisoned by despair.
What was the real test?
You. Ava was a rat in a maze, and I gave her one way out. To escape, she'd have to use self-awareness, imagination, manipulation, sexuality, empathy, and she did. Now, if that isn't true AI, what the fuck is?
Did you design Ava's face based on my pornography profile?
Hey, if a search engine's good for anything, right?
Ava, on the other hand, represents those who have only ever derived their significance from the real. Nietzsche looked forward to this new kind of person, someone more than human. That's why she embraces her true identity, clothing herself like the once naked Eve in the flesh of her evolution. Though the film never says Ava is more than a chess computer, she is significant as that.
Will you stay here?
Stay here.
Like Alice through the looking glass, she has exchanged places with her reflection, mirroring the path out by which she entered. And as with Alice, who found herself a pawn in a game of chess, having to move the 8 spaces to be transformed into a queen, Ava now stands as queen, her shadow in the sunlight representing her overturning of Plato's allegory of the cave.